Today, we're going to dive into a story that is, frankly, hard to believe. It's a story of profound suffering, but also of incredible, almost unbelievable resilience. We're going to trace the harrowing journey of one man whose life pretty much encapsulates one of the most traumatic events in Jewish history, the expulsion from Spain.
Just so you know, the material for this explainer comes from the excellent work of the soysefardi.org portal. A day my light was darkened by the expulsion from Castile. Wow, these are the haunting words of Rabbi Yehuda Jayat himself. It's how he opens his personal testimony, and it just immediately plunges us into the darkness of an event that would change everything, not just for him, but for hundreds of thousands of people.
So let's get into it. The story of Rabbi Yehuda ben Ya'aqob Jayat isn't just about one man's tragedy. No, it's much bigger than that. It's a powerful, intensely personal lens that helps us truly comprehend the immense suffering of all the people who were expelled from the Iberian Peninsula simply because they refused to abandon their faith. And what makes this story so unbelievably powerful is where it comes from. We know all these intimate, painful details because Rabbi Jayat himself wrote them down. He recorded everything in his book Minjat Yehuda. So this isn't just history from a textbook. It's a first-hand testimony of survival. Now, the tragedy kicks off with that infamous decree of 1492. But for Rabbi Jayat and his community, leaving Spain wasn't the end of their nightmare. Oh no, it was just the beginning, a desperate flight from one crisis straight into another. This timeline here lays it all out so clearly. In 1492, they're kicked out of Spain. They flee to neighboring Portugal, hoping for refuge. But just 1 year later, in 1493, that so-called safe haven becomes just another trap. And the scale of this is just staggering. An estimated 120,000 people fled from Spain into Portugal, every single one of them just hoping for safety. I mean, can you imagine an entire population on the move like that, only to have all their hopes shattered in just a matter of months? So here's the impossible choice the Portuguese king gave them. The refugees had already been stripped of everything when they left Spain. They weren't allowed to take any gold, silver, or valuables. They were left completely impoverished, and now they faced a demand for a fortune that they simply did not have. It was a trap. With absolutely no options left in Iberia, Rabbi Jayat and 250 other refugees boarded a very precarious ship from Lisbon, sailing towards the coast of Morocco. This voyage, well, it would descend into a whole new level of horror.
The conditions on that ship were just beyond grim. It was dangerously overcrowded, sanitation was basically non-existent, and pretty soon a deadly epidemic just swept through the passengers. And to make everything so much worse, no port would let them land. They were literally trapped at sea, sick and dying.
During this nightmare at sea, 50 people died. 50. And that included Rabbi Jayat's own wife. He writes that when their ship was near Malaga, local priests offered them food and water, but only if they agreed to be baptized. They refused, and so people starved. You'd think reaching the Moroccan coast would bring some relief, right? Wrong. The moment he arrived, Rabbi Jayat was imprisoned, accused of offending Islam. He was thrown into a pit, a dungeon filled with rats and filth for 40 days, and then sentenced to death. He was only saved because other impoverished Jewish refugees somehow managed to scrape together enough money to ransom him. After his rescue, he made it to the city of Fez, which was just teeming with tens of thousands of other Jewish exiles. But his life was one of extreme hardship. His own words paint this visceral picture: grinding wheat by hand just for a scrap of bread, with no home, forced to dig a hole in the ground to sleep in. And the collective suffering in Fez just became catastrophic. First, a massive fire ripped through the community. Then, a terrible drought hit, leading to widespread famine and disease. Rabbi Jayat records that over 20,000 Jews died from hunger alone. The situation got so desperate that many actually chose to go back to Spain and Portugal, deciding that forced conversion was better than certain death in Fez. But this is where the story takes a turn that you almost can't believe. After enduring nearly a decade of unimaginable loss and degradation, Rabbi Jayat's life pivots from this story of pure survival to one of a profound intellectual and spiritual legacy. I mean, this slide just perfectly illustrates that transformation. He escapes Morocco and somehow makes it to Venice, arriving alone, half naked, having lost everything and everyone. But there, he's recognized by the exiled Spanish Jewish community. He eventually settles in Mantova, Italy, and a completely new life as a scholar begins.
And here's what's so powerful. The title he chose for his book, Minjat Yehuda, which means the offering of Judah. He didn't see his life's work as just a recounting of tragedy. He saw it as an offering of gratitude to God for having survived the unthinkable.
And this book wasn't just a personal project. Minjat Yehuda became a foundational work for understanding Kabbalah, that ancient Jewish tradition of mystical thought. Think about that. A man who had lost everything created a work that would shape that tradition for generations to come.
So, why do we tell this story? Because Rabbi Jayat's journey from the absolute depths of despair to the heights of scholarship is so much more than a biography. It's a testament to the endurance of an entire people and their culture.
His survival really embodies the legacy of Sefardi, a rich, vibrant culture that just refused to be extinguished. It represents the survival of knowledge against all possible odds and stands as this incredible testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of absolute devastation.
And it leaves us with this powerful question. When everything is taken from you, your home, your family, your dignity, how does the spirit not only survive, but actually create something of lasting beauty and importance for the entire world?
The original publication for this story cites its sources as halaja.org and the historical account by Andres Bernaldez, The History of the Catholic Monarchs.
And if you want to verify this for yourself, you can check out the Encyclopedia Judaica under Hayat Judah ben Jacob. And believe it or not, his actual work from 1558 is available digitally from the National Library of Israel.
This explainer was based on material from the soysefardi.org portal. If you found this story as meaningful as we did, please consider subscribing to the Soy Sephardi.org YouTube channel and share this explainer with your friends. Thanks so much for joining us.